We know we ask you to focus beyond what is normal in your humandom. But when you do focus beyond what is normal, when you get your eyes on the big picture and you accept that you are source energy here reveling in this powerful moment. Now, how can you be eternally focused and focused here in this powerful moment? Abraham, make up your mind. I'm either eternal or I'm in this body. And we say, when you get it that you are both, when you get it that there is a blending that is taking place, and that in this powerful now, you have the ability to focus the wholeness of who you are into this moment, so that when you're having a conversation with someone, in your complete alignment with the wholeness of who you are then evoking the best from them. In your complete alignment with who you are, you're feeling the best in this moment. Your body is thriving the most in this moment. In other words, you didn't come here to be partially alive. You came here as life to express itself in this moment and in this moment and in this moment, to revel in the beauty of your planet and the beauty of the others with whom you share it. You came to revel in life, not to fix broken things, because as we have just been saying to you, Source does not acknowledge anything is broken, just as always expanding. So we say in simple terms, you can't get it wrong and you never get it done. And the reason you can't get it wrong is because it's never done. So if in this moment it feels sort of wrong, it isn't wrong, it's just not done. And in what feels like wrongness to you, there's a new rightness that's being born. And that rightness is the new expansion that is being born. So as you accept that you are always eternally expanding, then it sort of takes the sting out of standing in a place where the contrast is showing you something that you don't want. And what we want to convince you of today, we are determined to do it. We will give you everything that we and Esther has in order to help you understand that if you can accept that in this moment, right here and now, whatever the moment is, wherever you are, on the elevator, in traffic, making love, moving through your life, in whatever way that you are, in every moment in time, there is this juncture where you meet you. And to the degree that you understand that and want to let the fullness of you be there in that moment, then your new decision, your newfound decision that you will leave here with today will be this: I am source energy in a physical body, and the emotion that I strive for is my manifestation of the juncture of that source and me. You have the ability to be fully focused in any moment. You can be fully alive, or you can pinch yourself off. And to the degree that you focus upon good feeling things, you train yourself into that full aliveness. And then a wonderful thing happens. A wonderful acknowledgement occurs to you. And that acknowledgement is, you no longer have to demand of others that they behave or perform in specific ways in order to make your life better. You give up the impossibility of trying to control the uncontrollable, and you begin at once to control the only thing that really is controllable and the only thing that matters, and that is your own personal, in this moment, manifestation of an emotion that feels good to you. You can do that, and you can do it now. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt, however, and say you can do it, and you can do it within 10 minutes. You can bring yourself into alignment within 10 minutes every time. And when you show yourself that, then you're finally free. You're free of everything that ever bound you. Everything that has ever felt binding to you has always and only ever been that one thing. That one thing where you have chosen something in your now to use as your excuse to pinch yourself off from the fullness of who you are. So we know it's annoying. Focused on the emotion and the rest will follow, but don't worry about what's following, because if you worry about what's following, then you mess up the emotion. So just focus upon the emotion and the rest will follow, but don't worry about what's following, because when you worry about what's following, then you mess up the emotion and it doesn't follow. So just focus on the emotion and the rest will follow, but don't worry about what's following, because if you focus on what's following, you get this? You get this? So often, for years, we have said, as we begin here, are you enjoying the freshness of that new desire? Do you remember when your desires felt fresh? Do you remember that feeling of getting an idea and just the idea of it just made you feel good for a moment? Well, that's the feeling we want you to hold, because as you maintain that, then everything fills in around it. But when that feeling of freshness is muted by your logic, by your awareness, by your comparison, by your taking score, by your measuring yourself with everybody else, by your measuring yourself with your own past experience. When you're measuring the filling in part, we really jumped right into this, didn't we? We've got you right out here on the leading edge. In other words, we are right out on the leading edge of creation with you, and here you are right here with us. Nice to meet you here. Do you believe that the emotion that you feel, that the emotion is more general or more specific than the filled in version? In other words, do you believe that the emotion that you feel when you think about the security of a new car or the fun of a new car, do you think that that emotion is more general or more specific than the leather seats, the torque of the engine, the fact that you no longer need a key, the incredible color that has been created that almost defies anybody's ability to translate color in cars? Have you seen the color of that car? Do you think that the emotion is more general or more specific? It is. It's general. And do you think that it's possible for you to find a general feeling? Do you think it's possible for you to find a general feeling of something without the specifics? This is the key. This is the missing piece that you've been looking for. Because if you can figure out how to induce within yourself, by the sheer focus of your mind, upon the emotional properties of these things that you want, of these relationships that you want, of these recoveries that you want, of anything that you want, if you can isolate within yourself the emotional simplicity, then you will manage to put yourself in vibrational sync with your desire. And when you put yourself in vibrational alignment with your desire, the rest of it just follows. It's law. Whether you know it or not, or whether you even want to know it or not, you're vibrational beings. And you are, in this physical format, extensions of an eternal consciousness, a source energy point of view that has expressly presented itself here into this physical experience. So you began as source energy, but you remain as source energy even though you are here focused in this physical body. Most people, you're a little different than most people, don't get that. Most people don't get that. Most people think that they were non-physical. They call it soul or angel, or I came from heaven and here I am, but I'm here now, not there. And that's not true. You are source energy always. And that source energy is focused here in this physical body. And we want you to know that in you coming into this body, you didn't come without the larger part of you. The larger part of you came too. The larger part of you is present here in this time-space reality. The larger part of you is here now. And to the degree that you are in sync vibrationally, then you get the full representation of who you are. So how do you feel in a moment when the fullness of who you are is being allowed by you, when you realize that you are source energy in these physical bodies, and that the source energy part of you is always here with you, to the degree that you allow it through the syncing of the vibration, you have a fuller experience. In other words, how would you know when you're allowing the fullness of who you are to flow? You feel really good. You feel frisky. You feel clear-minded. You feel flexible. You feel intelligence. You feel all-knowingness. You feel intuitiveness. You feel harmony. You feel love. You feel appreciation. You feel tuned in, tapped in, turned on. You feel the fullness of who you are. And when you pinch it off, and it's easy to do because it's easy to get out of sync with source, all you have to do is get mad at somebody, you're out of sync with source. All you have to do is not like yourself a little, you're out of sync with source. All you have to do is nitpick over some unimportant thing and make something that isn't important important. In other words, as you focus lackfully, you're always out of sync with source. As you focus critically, you're always out of sync with source. So what's up with source? Does source have no discerning ability? Is source just blinded by love? Pretty much. Does Source always need to find the positive aspects? Can Source not be objective enough to see that something is screwy with that? Well, it isn't that Source doesn't see the screwiness. It's just that Source accepts the screwiness as not wrong, as not threatening. Source sees the variety in contrast. Source just, and you may want to write this down because it is profound beyond profound. Source just doesn't freak out. Source doesn't find unimportant things and use it as the excuse to pinch itself off from the source of source. And when you reach that place where you really get it, that everything is all right, and that every contrasting experience is just right in its providing desire. Do you accept that you are eternal beings? Oh yeah, blah, 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 Abraham. Yeah, we're eternal. Eternal, eternal, eternal. We're eternal. We get it. We're eternal. Eternal, 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 eternal. But do you get it that you are eternal beings? Oh yeah, we get it, Abraham. We're eternal. We're eternal, eternal, eternal. I want to talk about my car, please. Those people at work are really getting to me, Abraham. Can we talk about that? Something a little less eternal. But the reason that we want you to know that you are eternal is because you, in your eternalness, are so at one with this variety in which you are focused, because you know that the variety in which you are focused is giving birth to new preferences, and that's a big deal to an eternal being. Because if you're eternal, you need new ideas. If you're eternal, there must be something new to call you forward. And if there's not something new to call you forward, then you can't be eternal. And you can't have it both ways. You can't be eternal and not be eternal. You're eternal. We're just trying to make you accept the fact that there will always be variety that will always cause you to ask for something more. So when you make peace with the variety that is causing your expansion, as the source within you has made peace with the variety that is causing your expansion, then you'll be like source and you won't freak out either in the contrast. Instead, you will accept the contrast as a wonderful, life-giving, life-promoting, eternally promoting thing, you see. When you choose those things and you say, you are the reason that I can't feel good, then you are bound. When you say, oh, there is no reason for me to have pinched myself off because I now have full knowledge that I can within 10 minutes bring myself into alignment with who I am, then you are finally free. And then you'll be friskily moving through this life experience in good feeling moment after good feeling moment. And people who are watching you will say, what drug are you on and where did you get it? And you'll say, I'm on a natural drug. I've discovered that my physical body is a veritable chemical factory, and that when I get into an emotional place where I feel good, everything in my body works toward releasing everything that is good feeling. And they will say, well, it's obvious to me that you are on something. What is it? And you'll say, it's a very long story, but I can give you a quick version. I just decided to be happy. And they'll say, you are on something, you just won't admit it. You just won't admit it. We are eager to talk with you about anything that is important to you. It is our intention to drag you kicking and screaming into the vortex. You know, this vortex that we talk about? This vibrational state of being where everything that you are is, everything that you have become vibrationally is. We have enjoyed this interaction immensely. It is delicious to come together with those like you who are coming to know who you are. We really want you to know that from our vantage point, we see you here in this room as having moved in your emotional scale into the place where you are in the vicinity and in the vicinity and in your vortex. Watch for the evidence of that. The fastest way to make things